Hello everyone, Wolfman Dan here. Do you enjoy the existential dread of drifting endlessly in the cold, uncaring vacuum of space? And cool space swords? Then go buy Hellpoint. I'll wait. Oh, you want me to explain why? That's cool. Cool. Full disclosure, I was given a review code by the devs, but the opinions are my own. Sometimes a game just arrives out of nowhere and clicks with you in a way you didn't expect. You find hours passing by without notice, and the world outside just disappears for a bit. In 2020 though, that's a big bonus. Hellpoint did that to me, and is a game that more people should have their eyes on. Janky, unresponsive, repetitive, and filled with derivatives found in the genre. Yet, I loved it. Hellpoint is a Soulslike. There's no getting around it. It has all the elements you are familiar with if you have played any game in the genre. So let's get these bullet points out of the way. Bonfires. Ambushes, jolly cooperation, difficulty, and many more. Hellpoint starts off as a mystery, the only detail being a computer called the Architect telling you to explore the station and find out what happened. Exploring will reveal a series of events of 100 years ranging from the near extinction of man, creation of the Irid Nova space station orbiting a black hole, the strange alien race known as the Arisen, and the Merge, a cataclysmic event that caused all this madness. Does hell get involved at some point? Maybe. Nothing really compares to exploring the dark halls of this dying space station, seeing the impact that the merge has had on the environment and people that lived here. It creates an exemplary atmosphere of dread and causes you to tense up as you slowly move around to see what's hiding around the next corner. The enemies help build that mood further as you hear them chittering and moaning in the distance, terrifying mutated husks of what is left of humanity on the station, an ever-present reminder of the horrifying event that transpired. There were moments where I just walked around the station, taking in the atmosphere, looking at the visual storytelling of an opulent and high-tech world brought to its knees. In moments when the difficulty got a little too much, I would just teleport to the hub area and sit there, taking in the sights and music. It really helped calm the nerves. The game would be perfect as part of a Halloween marathon. Just make it a weekend, some Hellpoint, Dead Space, Event Horizon, and a giant bag of candy. That's a good time. I can't describe in enough words how well the atmosphere pulled me in, and how much I enjoyed my time in this world, even though it was a nightmare hellscape. Yeah, I'm weird that way. There's a large variety of levels as the space station is massive, and you will find your favorite area to chill in soon enough. Personally, I enjoy exploring the dark alleys of the corpse pit, listening to the ambience of feet scraping the floor as enemies shamble around, eventually escaping the filthy ground floor to fight more monsters on the roofs of buildings. I love these areas, but sometimes the enemy placement can also turn a good level into a nightmare. But more on that later. Instead, let's talk about frustrating platforming. The problem is that it's hard to distinguish between what does and does not require a running jump, and it just feels incredibly stiff. Also in the style of Ocarina of Time, you do a short hop off ledges, which can lead to some problems with the momentum. But it's a small part of the game and won't annoy you too much. Instead, let's go into depth about the combat, because that's what I have the most to say about. Combat feels standard at first glance. You have a normal and heavy attack, and are able to sprint and dodge out of the enemy's way. The jump button also adds extra attacks which are great for interrupting enemies sometimes, but I stopped using them after a while as my skill improved. You have a convenient lock-on which actually works most of the time, and feels snappy enough to make switching between multiple enemies a breeze. Combat is expanded upon by the weapons you can wield, from heavy impactful hammers, twirling staves that make up fast work of anyone, and short blades that will let you zip around avoiding enemies and hit them from behind. Also the crowbar from Half-Life. This is important because there is no backstab per se. You do deal more damage hitting them from behind, but it does not stagger enemies any more than hitting them from the front. Personally, I like this because it means you cannot cheat encounters by turtling and strafing around like in Dark Souls, and forces you to learn the benefits of hit and dodge. So instead, you'll have to constantly move around to position yourself behind an enemy for more damage. But don't think you can stay there, since most enemies have attacks that will reposition them into facing you again, and knock you down if you aren't careful. Important little note here, weapons can level up, and unlock bonuses after using them for a while, from increased damage, handling, and stamina regeneration, which comes in very handy during a pinch. This means you are incentivized for finding your favorite and using it consistently to get those needed bonuses to increase your chances. The game also caters to those of us who want to feel good playing a Soulslike, with a nice variety of armor pieces, including one that'll definitely turn a few heads. You also unlock abilities that contribute to combat, initiate combos for dealing quick damage, use something to help with crowd control, or extra buffs for dealing more damage, and some ranged attacks which are great for keeping the terror at bay. I only found out about this halfway through the game, and I'm very angry at myself for that. I could have saved so many hours. This gets expanded upon even more with secondary ranged weapons you can deal with, from guns to scepters that shoot balls of light. These also gain levels and can have different attacks when leveled up. Using both weapons combined with their special attacks reminds me of the combat from Bloodborne, with the weapon transformations that added extra strategy and extended your combos. The only difference being that the enemies aren't as well designed and combat lacks that same visceral punch. But wait! I am still not done, oh no. It gets even better. The combat is built around the abilities, because every time you hit an enemy, it refills some of your energy bar, which is what the abilities use. So you keep hitting, maybe throw an axe or two at their face, maybe initiate a little combo, then go back to hitting them again. Rinse and repeat. This makes for some fantastic combat and really engaging encounters with multiple enemies. Also, hitting enemies refills your health injection, so you don't have to run back to the void gate to refill health every time. Remembering and mastering all this is very important, because the game can be tough. In the first few hours, most enemies will be able to kill you in seconds. I have mixed feelings about them, since they can be a highlight and also a disappointment at the same time. My main issue here is that it reuses a lot of enemies throughout. There is some variety from the aforementioned mutated humans, strange creatures pouring forth from the warp, displacer beasts, and fish. Yeah, fish. Gonna be killing a lot of Nemos here. Some of them are just bosses sized down, given less health and moves, which is a big disappointment and exposes the low-budget nature of the game in full view. Nothing broke my immersion faster than just seeing a smaller version of a boss chilling in place and then seeing another one down the road. Sometimes they are packed together so tight that it takes away from the level design seeing the same enemies populate a small space. It's basically the demon ruins from Dark Souls, but much more prevalent. Which is a shame since the levels deserve a little more love in terms of enemy placement. The space station is circling around a black hole. Every few minutes special events can occur, and these ramp up the difficulty with you having to face a ton of enemies in a small trapped space. It's an interesting idea and one that needs some refinement, because the way it's handled here is not great. You will usually just find yourself overwhelmed by more enemies than should be able to fit, and therefore it just becomes about brute force as maneuverability is thrown out the window. Surviving these will give you more items and unlock certain hidden doors, so there is a benefit to going through them, but oh man were they annoying. The bosses also range from interesting to frustrating, and only about 4 of them don't come back as regular enemies as stated before. The 4 unique bosses are real standouts, and particularly the Master of Puppets is nightmarish. Look at this multi-armed monstrosity dancing around, laughing while ripping off his own arms to turn them into minions. This is top tier stuff. I wish all the bosses were on this level, or at least more than 50% of them. Also, they have been known to glitch out a little bit. Okay, so this section is a bit off topic, and I debated about whether to even talk about this, but you know what? I decided no, it's my review and I will complain about this. Also, it's a pretty funny story. This big glitch nearly broke me and almost ruined my playthrough, but luckily for you, it has been fixed with a patch, so don't worry about this happening. Let me run you through it. You get to Arcology yonder side, which leads out to space, but going out there means death, either from asphyxiation or radiation. Whichever one kills you first, really. You need a spacesuit, which is hidden a little too well. Here's some steps. You need to go back to Embassy, find the secret door, go inside, do a spacewalk, even after we have already established this is a bad idea, and find the destroyed suit outside. Take it to the crafting table, and if you have the recipe, you can make the Ava suit. Except, I did all that, and only got half the suit. The other half just disappeared. But I don't believe in giving up, So I had to do the entire section without half my spacesuit. Needless to say, I was dejected and wanted to give up. But I did it. I died a lot, and whoever decided to put the warp point outside the boss room in the frickin' cold, meaning every time you die you have to change suits again, I will find you and there is no escaping my wrath. Also, I found another suit just before the final boss. Kill me! Otherwise, no complaints. Not one. Do I believe you should buy it? Yes. But, okay, listen, I'm not delusional. I know some of the issues I've presented are a turn-off for people, but as an indie Souls-like, it really left a mark on me. The atmosphere and fun combat really carry the game past some of its more mediocre shortcomings, and it deserves to be at least looked at. It's also pretty cheap, provides about 20 plus hours for the first playthrough, but can add more if you try out the multiplayer. I look forward to getting a friend and forcing them to replay the game in co-op, so if anything here is interesting to you, I would recommend picking it up. Hell, pick up 2! I need a sequel. More set in this horrifying universe, please, because for now, I look forward to going back to the nightmare that is Irid Nova. Ah, that's another video done. That was a fun one. Really enjoyed this game and couldn't say enough good things about it. I mean, I could say some bad things about it too, but, you know, I already did that. So, let me know if there are any other Souls-like you enjoy. Personally, I'm a big fan of Salt and Sanctuary and even Surge 2. And thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and also, stay beautiful.